Hi again, YouTubers. So this is going to be my overview of concealers. Now, a couple things about me. I don't tend to use concealer on my face unless I have a blemish. Mostly what I use concealer for, I would say 90% of the time, is under eye. So just keep that in mind when I'm talking about things. And I do have a couple here that are not strictly concealers. They're also like under eye brighteners that I just kind of wanted to throw in here as well. Sorry, I just forgot one of them. I'm going to start with one that everyone talks about, everyone loves, and it's amazing. And it is the Bobbi Brown. And they have the corrector and the creamy concealer. The one I have here is the corrector. And this is, I have it in the color Bisque. This is what it looks like. It has a little bit of a peach or pink undertone. The reason for that is it actually cancels out the blue from the dark circles under your eyes. It is so smooth. It goes on like a dream. You can apply it with your finger or with a brush. I'll pull out a couple different types of brushes that I use. Most times for under my eyes, I use a small concealer brush like this. This is an old Sigma one. It was the SS194. See if I have another one that I could tell you the number on. I don't see it. So, goodness. All right, I'm just going to pull this whole thing. So I do use that on this, and I kind of apply it directly where the darkness is, and then I use my finger to tap it out into other areas. And that's kind of consistently across the board how I tend to apply concealer under my eyes. Now, if I'm going, this is a corrector, but if I'm going to use a concealer on a blemish, I actually use an eyeliner brush. The one that I tend to use is this one here. It's a little bit thicker. There's all kinds. There's like really thin ones like this, but I like this thicker type one, and I like it because you can just dot it on exactly where you need it and then just barely touch it. And Lisa Eldridge talks about that a lot, and it's a great tip. This was a E05 from Sigma. The key with the corrector is that most times you need to then put a concealer over top of it, because if you don't, it just has that too much of a pink look, too much of that undertone. I like their concealer, but I think there's other options out there, so I haven't repurchased as far as that goes. One of the concealers that I love, I use this all the time, is the Coastal Scents Camo Quad. I have it in the color medium. It has a white that I very rarely use. It can be used for a highlighter. It has a fairly light one, a medium one, and then a darker one. I tend to kind of mix them for whatever I need. For my skin tone, I will say the darkest one in here is actually a little bit of a pink undertone, which actually kind of works because I mix it with the light one, and then it kind of does the same thing as a corrector, so it's a really good inexpensive option to give it a try. They do also sell this in light and dark as well, but medium worked best for me. Another good, I'm going to throw this away after this, I kept it for this review, concealer is Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer. I have it in the color light. This is what it looks like. I think this is great for blemishes. This has a wand, and all I tend to do with that wand is I just put a little bit on my hand like this, use the same thing with the fine tipped brush, and get it exactly in the area I want it. I would not use this under my eyes. This, to me, gets a little bit drying because it is so stay in place that under my eyes just doesn't do a good job. But for blemishes, if you're looking for something to cover up blemishes, it's a really, really nice product. Sorry, I'm gonna wipe my hand off. Next one I'm gonna talk about is a drugstore option. And I think it's a really, really great drugstore option. It is by L'Oreal True Match, and you can find the color that works for you. This one's too dark for me now, but it's N45, Neutral Light Medium. This one has like a brush in it. Again, I do the same thing, but this one is actually really nice for under eye too. Again, if you can't afford like MAC, which has your cool tone, your warm tone, whatever have you for under eyes, L'Oreal has a great line. This True Match line they have neutral, cool, and I think one other. So you can get one that matches you, and you can get something that works great for under your eyes. And I think it's a really, really nice product for a drugstore option. Definitely something to try. Next thing, another thing too, by the way, is if I'm not using my finger, another great tip, and Pixie Woo said this, is to use, this is a MAC 224, is you actually just brush it on and swirl it for an airbrush look for under your eyes. Really, really great tip. So have that out. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Cargo One Base, and it's a concealer and foundation in one. I have no idea what color this is because I bought it when they were going to stop selling it at Sephora, and it doesn't say anywhere on it. So I would never use this as a foundation. It would take forever to get enough out of here to be able to do that. Again, it's another Joe Foot applicator. I do the same thing. I swipe it on my hand. This one is good for both under eyes and for on blemishes, concealing blemishes. It is not too heavy, so this one requires a little bit more to build up to what you might want to use to cover a blemish or something like that. Another option, I have talked about this forever and a day, and they just reformulated this. This is in the old formula, but this is Estee Lauder's Maximum Coverage Camouflage Makeup for Face and Body. Have this in the color Creamy Tan, which is a medium undertone. It is a squeeze bottle. This is actually a foundation, but it is made for covering tattoos and things like that. Now, I don't personally think that that would work. I don't think it's that pigmented, but it's really, really nice if you have discoloration. Like, I had some sunspots before I started doing some treatments, and it would cover them like amazing. I use it under my eyes. It works great. It is by far a great, great product, and I really, really like this. I don't personally use it as a foundation anymore. It's just a little bit too heavy, kind of cakey for me, but I really do like it as a product, and I think it's great for a concealer. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the Eclipse Palette 15 Concealer Shades by Coastal Scents. This is what it looks like. Whoops. This is a full palette, and it kind of gets a little messy. I try and clean it up afterwards so you can't see the finger marks. It has color correctors over here. It's got a pearl, more as a highlighter, a green, a purple, a light yellow, and then everything up to a dark tone. I do like this. Would I go out of my way to purchase this? No, because I don't do makeup on other people. I wouldn't find enough uses for this. For me, I would much rather have the Camo Quad, which matches my skin tone and is quick and easy to grab. This is just more than what I need. But the formulation is pretty much the same as the Camo Quad. So if you're interested in getting a bunch of different concealers, this is a great way to go about it. Another concealer that I absolutely love. Now, I am not a MAC foundation fan. I've never had a MAC concealer that I loved. I had the one in the little pot. I didn't like it. It got too cakey. I had the one that I think had a wand. It was okay, but it didn't have enough pigmentation to it. When MAC came out with the Pro Longwear, everyone said I had to try this. Now, this one is way too dark for me now. I think it's NW25. That doesn't sound like it's too dark for me, but look at this. It's crazy. And I really am impressed with this product. It has a little pump. I hate that. You can tell how messy it is. Like, look how gross and messy it is. It is next to impossible to get the right amount of this out. Like, you have to just barely, barely, barely touch it, and you still end up with more than what you usually need. Has great staying power, doesn't get cakey on me, doesn't really need to be set with the powder if you don't want to. Is a really, really great product. It's just too dark for me right now. Next one I'm going to talk about is probably one of my all-time favorite concealers ever. Absolutely ever. And it's by Vichy Derma Blend. I have it in the color 20 Nude. This is what it looks like. You can buy it at CVS, CVS online. Not all CVS's carry it. Has a little squeeze top. It is just amazing. Their foundation is great, and a lot of people said you can use their foundation as a concealer, actually similar to the Estee Lauder. But then I saw the concealer and I said, let me give that a try. And I actually really prefer this. It doesn't separate like the foundation does, because the foundation also has some water in it, so you have to shake it up really well. This stuff is phenomenal. I can use it on anything and it will cover. It has great coverage. It goes on smoothly. It stays all day. I can use it under my eyes. I can use it on a blemish. I can use it on absolutely anything, and it is great. It is one of my absolute favorites. It is a must-have. I won't be without it. Another one that I really, really love for under my eyes, only under my eyes, is the Clinique All About Eyes Concealer. Have it in the color 3 Light Petal. This is what it looks like. It does have a squeeze point as well. Well, I actually have this on today in conjunction with one other thing. This has a light, slight pink tinge to it in it, but it's so, so smooth for under your eyes. It is just such a nice product. It just goes on so smoothly, it stays well, and it just really looks great under the eyes. Last one kind of concealer senses, and then I'm going to go on to like some highlighters and brighteners, is the Garnier Skin Renewal Anti-Dark Circle Roller. This is what it looks like. You can buy this at most drugstores. You can see the color. It has a little bit of a color to it. It has a tint. After I put my foundation on, I roll this on and just tap it in. Most days I can get away with just that. When I haven't slept well or something like that, I can add a little bit of this, but this stuff is amazing for under eyes. I just really, really like it. I'm kind of impressed. I was like, there's no way a product that's that thin is going to cover my dark under eye circles. But it really does a nice job and kind of conditions under your eyes as well, which helps so that fine lines don't get so bad. And if you need a little bit of extra, just add something on top of it. So on to kind of highlighters and things that brighten up your eyes. First one I'm going to mention is one I've used for a long while, and this one's small, is Benefit's Eye Bright. That's what it looks like. It's sharpened down. It's a pencil. You specifically only draw this on the areas that have the blue. You wouldn't put it all under your eyes, just like down in the corner, down here, and like maybe on the edge. Tap it in and then put a concealer over it. So very similar to like the corrector in that sense, but it is a light pink and it really just brightens up your eyes. Trish McAvoy also has one almost exactly like this, but this is less expensive. The next thing that I am going to mention is the YSL Touch Eclat. I can't say this right. I know I can't. I don't know what color I have in this. This is not a concealer. It is an under eye illuminator. You just put a little bit on after you've done your concealing, tap it in, and it kind of brightens your eye a little bit. It's nice, but overpriced for what you're doing with it. The next thing, Milani has an advanced concealer, has the same options. This is in the color 01. Does basically the same thing, but it is way less expensive. So that's a nice option. Another one, this one was by, who was this even by? Oh, here it is. La Prairie, and I'm probably saying that wrong. It's the same option. It's nice. It does the same thing, but for what it is, it's just really overpriced. Of those ones, the Milani is still the better option. Another great one is Michael Todd also does this. Same thing. By the way, all of these, you just push the button and it kind of comes out and you just go across your skin where you need it. But it does, you can't even see it on there, but it does a really great job. Same thing, Michael Todd's a little bit less expensive, but these are just things to help you brighten your eye. There aren't something that's going to really work on concealing or helping you look like you've covered that. It just helps give you a little bit of brightness under your eye. The last one is the Smashbox Photo Op Under Eye Brightener. This one you actually have to put on before you put concealer on. Otherwise, it's going to look a mess. You can't see that either. It's just a highlighter. It gives you a nice sheen under your eyes. I tried putting it on after concealer. It doesn't work. I thought it was going to be like the YSL one. It isn't. This one you strictly need to put on beforehand. But honestly, it's just okay. I wouldn't go out of your way for this. So some of my absolute favorite, if I had to grab for everyday things, the Benefit Eye Bright, if I really need to brighten. The Clinique All About Eyes Concealer. The Vichy Derma Blend is a must-have for every type of concealer for me. And the Garnier Rollerball thing. Those are probably my favorites. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions on any of the things you saw here. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Bye.